to Faces. My name is C, the Superior, and I'm not here alone. As you can see, I have a very special guest host today. The Lawrence Report has joined us. How's it going?
It's going well. How about you? Glad to be here.
All right, I'm excited to talk about the shows, particularly because Rogue has always been my favorite X-Men. This episode was heavily centered on Rogue and Gambit, so there's a lot to discuss. But before we get into it, there was some news that broke in relation to X-Men today, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. So they have announced, according to I think it's comicbook.com, X-Men has announced their new live action Cyclops, and it's this Kit Connor guy. I've never seen him before, but just quickly it says, to be my X-Men, according to a new report, Heartstopper breakout Kit Connor has been cast as Scott Summers, better known as Cyclops, in Marvel Studios' upcoming X-Men movie. The report also points to one of the character's most iconic comic storylines that could help shape the MCU's next era of mutants. So, thoughts on this casting? Are you familiar with this actor at all? I'm not. What do you think about it?
Well, to be honest, I don't know a thing about the actor either. I don't even know what
Mm-hmm.
he looked, what he played into. I did look it up, but it was nothing that I watched per se.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you this right here. I made a TikTok talking about this right here, that they are basically getting ready to go with a youth movement. I think this guy right here is in his early 20s. The same actress that he covered for Emma Frost. She's in her early 20s, so they're going with a youth movement. Um. I really didn't have a guy that I wanted to be Cyclops. There's nobody in particular. But I mean, if Kevin Feige feels like this guy's the guy, then hey, I'm rolling the dice and going with Kevin Feige on this one right here.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm 100% sold. I would have to see, how they get them together and what's its acting like. I'm just gonna, lean on the understanding of, like you said, Kevin Feige. But with that being said, Um, I also have a question about who would you fan cast in this live action X-Men movie that we're going to be getting? Because we already have a couple confirmed.
Yes.
So any unconfirmed X-Men character, who would you like to play them? Could be one, how many, however, whoever you have in mind.
The only main, and I love all of the X-Men. Don't get me wrong, because I'm about to go in and say this right here. But the only casting that I am concerned about is the Storm casting, because I have a personal fan cast and a personal favorite.
Ooh,
I wanted to be Jamie Lawson, right?
Jamie
But
Lawson. Is that the girl from Sinners?
yes, yes,
That
her
that's the one who I wanted to be too. We're gonna pull our strength together and make it happen.
yes, yes. And I mean, if they don't go with her, there is Wanda Wise, right?
Hmm.
I forgot what she played. She played in a bunch of stuff. I know she has like these amazing
Got
colored
light
eyes.
eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay. Yeah.
eyes.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Jodie, I hear a lot of people saying Jodie Turner Smith. My only thing is I feel like Jodie Turner Smith may be a little bit too old, especially if they're going like a with a young cast, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Hmm.
hearing something about a girl, I think her name is Kiki Lane, I think that's her name. I'll have to
Okay.
look up and see what she's in, but I just want to make sure that the Storm casting is cool. Like they can cast whoever they want for Beast,
Uh-huh.
Wolverine. I really don't get them casting for those guys, but I just gotta make sure the Storm casting is good.
Man, we're on the same page with that storm casting. I'm really excited to see who they announce for that because we haven't had a storm that kind of looked like Storm ever in these live action shows. I'm sorry, live action movies. So we'll see what they do with that. As far as everyone else, I'm not too particular. I'm not too particular.
Right.
As long as when we get to Rogue, she got a country Southern accent. That's what I need from my Rogue. I want
Right.
her to be tall and built. I don't want a little pixie little. No, I don't want a little 5 foot zero. She's got to be tall and statuesque and strong and from the South. That's what I want.
Right.
Or at least have a Southern accent because they like hiring British folks. I think actually, is everyone British except for Sadie Sink? Is Sadie?
I think
I
I
feel
think
as if Kit
I,
Connor or whatever his name is. I
I,
think he's British.
he's British.
I feel like he is. I saw a video and he had like a little
Oh
accent
Lord,
because he was putting
that
it
that
on.
that British takeover is really taking over the MCU. Well, we'll save that conversation for another day. I might get too. I won't get too involved in that whole British conversation, but I think I saw something about this was a leak or rumor that they've already cast Rogue. Now coming up in it, I think next month we have D23, which is
Yeah.
Disney 23. And they're going to focus more on the television, but I think they're also going to bring out some of the X-Men, maybe this entire cast, maybe just four people that they cast already, but that's gonna be big at D23. So remember, I told you this if it happens that
Okay.
we may see some X Men. I don't know how many. We may see some next month at D23.
That would be nice because they didn't do too much at Comic Con. They didn't have any like, X-Men announcements at Comic Con. I guess hopefully they were saving it for this.
Right.
But let's get into the episode. Thank you all for being here, was rocking with us. Please like the video and join us in the comments and let us know what you think. But this episode opens up with a revisionist history. According to Rose, she has a dream, and she's instead of dancing with Magneto, she was dancing with Gambit. Up until the point where he turned into like the death character and touched her, and it causes like this weird reaction, right? And she wakes up from the dream to to the peoples. They out here playing poker. There was a lot of card references this episode. I was like, even as far as Gambit's like commentary, it was like, oh, how dare you look at a man's hands and whatever, what a man has in his hand, and all these card. I thought it was hilarious.
Right.
But when the after the card game, there's some like disturbances in the air. Turns out it's our crew with Cable and Jubilee. They have brought over the dilapidated corpse of Apocalypse, and they let it be known that hey, Gambit is alive, and I don't know about well, he's alive, and he's responsible for this, right? So of course, Professor Xavier had to get out to Cerebra. Now,
Mhm.
this is a change. I've always known Cerebra to be Cerebro. Are you
Right.
are you familiar at all with like this name change?
I've always known it even from watching cartoons back in the day. They always called it Cerebro, and I'm
Mhm.
wondering if I don't know what the A part came from. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm about to look that up. I don't know if it's like a female version of Cerebro. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I guess it's what they're going to, but I never heard that before.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I think during a few episodes ago, Don was on and he mentioned something about there being like a Cerebra and she takes over the body or something. I have no idea. Kind of like what Damage did in the last few episodes. But
Mm,
this is really my first time actually seeing how it looks here.
right.
But Professor Xavier, he's in Cerebra. He's transported to Louisiana. He's down the south. It looks like Mardi Gras or something's happening. Something's happening here.
Yeah, I thought it was a Mardi Gras too. I was like, they having a party? I mean, it's
Yeah.
Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? They don't go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning down there, especially in the summertime.
Uh-huh. This is down in the French Quarter. And they having something, they got confetti. He saw someone who looked like Gambit, but it wasn't him. Gambit
Mm,
popped up on him
mm,
and he gave him this like weird power thing on his mind. And I was confused as to like what this actually did because we saw it in Rogue on her dream. We saw it on Professor Xavier, and it looked as if it just kind of like pushed his mind out of the vicinity. But later, when we get to the point where Gambit, as Death, is meeting up with his old crew, he does a similar action, but this seemed to have like killed them. Like he's like creating like undead warriors, like vampires or something. What did you
yeah.
think of this scene here?
I was like, okay, let me find out. Gambit got some untapped power that we didn't know
Right.
about. But then again, I realized that it's not really Gambit. It's Apocalypse that's controlling because the real Gambit has never been able to, summon dead people or turn them into zombies. You know what I'm saying? That's not his powers. That's not his strength. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that this was different. I thought this was interesting. Even and I know we'll probably end up talking about this. I'm about to jump ahead by accident, of course, but what I'm
Mhm.
about to say is going to tie into what we're saying. Like even later on when we talk about this, Gambit had like that weird totem, right? He put that
Yeah.
totem on Rogue's chest, like later. later on we'll talk
Hmm.
about it. And I don't know what all. I feel like it's the same. They did it 3 times in this episode, so I don't know where Gambit gets that from. Like as far as Apocalypse, like I don't know what controls that.
Yeah, well, we can talk about it because I have a question about Gambit's character as far as how much is Gambit and how much is Apocalypse. Because to brush things along, Gambit ends up finding where Rogue is. There's this whole battle on this aircraft. Jubilee was doing her thing here. I was shocked. I'm not a big Jubilee fan, but she's been kicking a lot of ass this season.
Yeah.
And when Rogue tried to touch him to, take him out, of course it didn't work. He
Mm,
he ends up taking her hostage, and she wakes up in this home, and he's giving her the whole spiel. He's like, "Hey, baby, this is what's up. This is what's happening. I want you to be my woman, my wife in eternity." Because he brings up the whole story of Apocalypse and his Apocalypse's love for this character. I believe they called her External, I want to say.
yes. Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And External was a city girl. Pulled the wool over Apocalypse's eyes to get to his power, and that made her like, unkillable, or at least, let me not say unkillable, but her existence go on for a long time. Like it's a thing where she can live for eternity. That's what I'm looking for.
But it's crazy because when it comes to the character of External, Apocalypse, he killed all her people, but he kept her
Hmm.
alive. But basically, he basically made her like like a servant. You know what I'm saying? So while he killed her people, that's why she was trying to get out and get revenge on Apocalypse at the end of the day. This is
Hmm.
going this is going all the way back to like
Yeah,
be ancient BC when it was over there in Egypt.
exactly. Because good for
Yeah,
her. Because
yeah.
he did run things with the iron fist back in the day. So good for
Right.
her for getting her get back. Um,
Hmm.
but it was after this that Remy's like looking Rogue in the eye, and he's all like, be my queen, be my woman, and Rogue said, that's all you needed to say, because next scene she's out about to get married to this man. They're in the woods building an altar for External, and he made it known at the fireplace when they were discussing things here that yes, she has a jewel that was Apocalypse's, and we're going to take it, right? And
Mm.
Rogue was down with it. It seemed like she was okay with everything. And it wasn't until Gambit stabbed this woman through that Rogue was like, I did not sign up for all of this. What is going on? I said, I didn't come over this. I just came here to dance. Sorry.
Right, right, right. I hope you don't mind if I say this right quick, but
Go ahead.
one things I noticed whenever Rogue first touched Gambit, he was
Uh-huh.
there as a stone. You know what I'm saying? She put her hand on the face and she was
Hmm.
like, it can't be. Because, she usually takes the powers whenever,
Yeah.
she touches the people, right? But I think the issue is because he was a dead man, hence the title Dead Man, right?
Hmm.
Gambit was soulless, right? So I'm wondering because he was soulless, he didn't have no soul. He had no soul in his eyes, right? I'm
Hmm.
wondering because he had no soul. That's why she couldn't feel him. She couldn't feel his powers or anything like that.
Now, here's the thing though, because did he not have a soul? Because later in the episode we see some visuals that was given like there was a soul in there. So I'm like, I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know if it's because they mentioned something about the skin. Is it just because his skin, his outer shell is dead, and that's why
Uh
she
huh.
can't like zap his powers? Or I have no idea, but basically she was kind of like, yeah, I'm not in it for this. I did not sign up for you to kill this woman right here. But he gave her no choice. He ends up putting the medallion, the jewel that he took from her, right onto Rogue, and she passes out. Um,
Mm.
but the crew showed up. Let it be known that the crew is popping up for their own, because they show up to pull
Uh,
up and fight these his boys,
can,
Gambit's boys.
can we talk about that crew moment for a second?
Yeah.
So I remember seeing the trailer, and you saw the trailer. We all saw the trailer, right? I was thinking to myself when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, they're all assembling, get ready to take
Hmm.
down Apocalypse, right? I didn't think fast forward a couple months to from where the trailer is at to where we at now, I didn't think they would be assembling to take down one of their own, a la Gambit, right?
Yeah.
But this moment, this was like Avengers Assemble, not comparing them, but
No.
that lineup when Cyclops said whatever, I forgot what he said, but he's like, Remy, we don't want to hurt you.
Uh-huh.
Man, listen, as a fan, you saw everybody line up one by one. Oh, I was screaming at that part. I was so excited to see all of the mutants come together. I just hate that it was they had to battle against one of their own.
Yeah, it was, and but here's the thing, they had to do it because he's taken over bodies, he's taken over consciousness. He did the
Yep.
same thing to poor Nightcrawler. He's not in control of his body. It's like, but the fight happened,
Yeah.
and it was marvelous. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for being here. Um, she got another guy. I like your shirt, Lawrence.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Got us off Amazon. I got like 4 or 5 X-Men shirts. So yeah.
I know that's right. Shout out to Monique. Make sure you guys follow her channel and subscribe to her channel. But when we get to the point where the fight breaks out, everyone's battling everyone. Cage is there. I'm sorry, not Cage. Cable is there, and
Hmm.
he has his own thing going on. He came there under the guise of, oh yeah, we just need to find Gambit and help him out, but really he was there to kill Gambit, right? He was there to take
Right.
out the threats,
Hmm.
and that wasn't revealed until the fight kind of started happening. This is the part that pisses me off in the show because Professor Xavier, he comes out, he was like, look, let me shut it down. He gets into the mind of things, and lo and behold, he never get it right. Like, why? I feel like they're nerfing Professor Xavier in this show. I feel like, well, I feel as if he was stronger in the movies, and even in X2 they had that scene where he froze everybody, and it was like a whole thing, and it was just like light work for him. Why
Right.
can't he do that here? How come he's always getting it handed to him all the time? I feel like in this series.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. So on this part right here, I thought that what Charles Xavier was trying to do was okay, right? Because we saw him from
Okay.
the plane. He was trying to calm Remy down. I've seen a lot of people say, "Yo, every time I watch X-Men '97, this season in particular, Charles Xavier's getting his butt kicked." And they're right. They have not lied
Yes.
about that. They're right.
Yes.
They say he's up there crying all the time. He's getting his butt kicked, and they're not lying. But I thought he did the right move as far as him, trying to go to the body, I guess you could say,
Hmm.
try to go into the mind of Remy, you know what I'm saying, try to rescue him because Charles' best strength is really when he's in that mind, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily when he's outside roaming. I mean, he's okay when he's roaming in his wheelchair, but when he gets into that mind,
Hmm.
that's his battlefield. That's his playground. You know what I'm saying? But I thought he tried his best. But
Yeah.
Apocalypse like, no, the teacher has learned nothing.
Yeah, they got some
Yeah,
great like one-liners in this show for sure.
they
Everyone
do.
has
They
some mic
do.
drop moments.
They
Um,
do.
but yeah, Xavier did what he could do. Wasn't much because he was about to get destroyed. And it wasn't until Rogue came on. This is like I want to say this was like a Spectre version of herself. It wasn't like fully Rogue because I felt like she was still on the ground, laying next to Gambit. So this
Right.
was just like her spirit coming out or something along those lines. But she pulls out this blue ghost version of Gambit from
Mm,
Apocalypse.
mm,
Um, so they fall to the ground, but by the time we see Gambit's body, he has returned to his full colored form. He no longer looks like death. He looks like he's back to like normal Gambit, though unconscious. And of course, Cable, he tries to take this as his moments and kind of aim his gun at our boy. Um, but it wasn't, he didn't shoot because Jean, his mom, got in the way. Jean was right in front of the gun, and he said, "Oh, dang, I can't shoot my mom," and let the shot go.
I think Cable. How can I say this? He's having a hard time because he wanted to pull that trigger, but then you
Hmm.
had what's my girl name? I'm looking at it right now. What is her name?
What's her power?
Her power. She's like purple and Psylocke.
Psylocke.
What's it? Psylocke,
Hmm.
and them. It's tough for Cable because I feel like he's like, dang, I want to control my destiny, but it's another way. Like he's conflicted, right?
Hmm.
When it comes to him trying to kill Apocalypse and wants to know, he's like, my destiny says I'm supposed to kill him,
Hmm.
but y'all telling me. I gotta do it a different way. So that's why he threw down the gun. I think also in frustration.
Hmm. Oh, one moment I forgot to mention that happened in this episode
Uh-huh.
was when the fight broke down on the airplane, and the airplane was going down, and Jean had to like use her power to kind of help it coast along, and Cable used his psychic abilities too at that point. And this is like, um I feel as if Cable doesn't use those abilities all that often. Like when we saw
Right.
him in episode 1 as a child, he was using it.
Hmm.
Then when he became an adult, all he does really, I feel, is lean so heavily on these like guns and machinery,
Yeah.
and to the point that I forgot that he could do all of this.
Yeah, yeah, because every time we see him, he's always like, "Oh, I gotta go in guns blazing," and we
Yeah.
forget that he could do a little bit of some mind tricks himself. You know what I'm saying?
So
But let me ask you this question right here:
mhm.
what did you think about the Nightcrawler fight? Because we saw Nightcrawler's point of view. Like, if he was
Mhm.
Nightcrawler, if you had his powers, we got a chance to see what it would look like. You know how he was kicking everybody butt. He
Yeah.
was getting everybody a two-piece combo with
Uh-huh.
extra ranch, some lemonade on the side, make sure it's
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
and crispy. So,
uh-huh.
Nightcrawler was going in. What did you think about that?
I always love seeing a Nightcrawler fight because it's always so well choreographed, even in the cartoons.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite X-Men. I actually, after this episode ended, I went and I watched a couple episodes of X-Men Evolution, and I really liked that show when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And he was one of my favorite characters even then. And I just love how they show his powers, and we even get like the POV shots of him.
Yep.
Um, he's a very interesting character and such a sweetheart usually when he's not being
Hmm.
mind controlled.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, listen, just because I'm quoting you Bible scriptures don't mean I don't
Uh-huh.
give you a little two-piece combo now. Don't get it twisted. Just gotta wear that little collar on my neck like a priest.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
he always tries to do the right thing though, because if he could transport people anyway, he could just transport these people right on top of an active volcano. He could, if that was my power, I would do that left and right, y'all, in the volcano, in
Exactly.
space. Psh, so, but he's just such a nice guy. But
Yeah.
anyway, as far as I wanted to ask you this question about Cable. Why do you feel that he doesn't use his telekinetic powers that much as an adult? Like, do you think it's like a trauma there, or like what is the reason why he doesn't rely on that?
I
They
I
did
I,
say something about him being sick when he was a kid. He
I,
had
I
to.
I think you said it, trauma, because him using telekinesis, right? His mama uses telekinesis, and maybe because he got thrown away as a child early, they told him this is your destiny as a 13-year-old child to be this man. You have to kill this guy later on as you get older. I think it's a trauma situation that if he uses his powers, he's gonna feel like he's getting too close to his mother, right?
Mm,
Even whenever Cyclops and Jean, I think it was this episode, yeah, Cyclops and Jean and Cable, they had like a little family
yeah,
moment.
one on one. Hmm.
Yeah, and Cable, I can't remember if he had like a little bit of tears in his eyes or whatever, but I think it's definitely a trauma bond or trauma situation.
Yeah, why he doesn't use those powers? Okay, I was wondering about that. I was like, these are very like desirable powers. This is very powerful, and he's just out there with this with the guns, and I'm like, what? But at the end of the episode, we see that of course Gambit is back at the X Mansion. He is being like surveilled under in his coma, and they mentioned that Apocalypse is still in him,
Mm,
but they have to find a way to like take him out before Apocalypse figures out a way to wake up. It seems as if Apocalypse might also be unconscious within Gambit as well.
right.
So I wonder what's going to happen with that. But by the very, very end of the episode, we see Dr. Cooper is back, and she has decided to align herself with X Force. She brings in her crew, and they are all going to create one, experiment of groups of mutants in order to take down Xavier and them. And I'm like, why would Cable sign up for this? I guess he's in it for to get to Gambit again, but she clearly throughout the season has had it out for Professor Xavier
Right.
and the mutants. So we'll see. We'll see. What do you think is going to happen here?
M-
Because I don't know if they're going to mesh.
Val Cooper is absolutely annoying, right? We just seen her show up like two times at the end of an episode. She
Mhm.
even threatened a couple. I think it was last episode or a couple episodes ago. She threatened Xavier when it
Yeah.
came to X Corp. You remember that? I'm like, who is she supposed to be? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, I know she's like this government official, but it just lets me know that she's willing to do anything she can to take down the X-Men. You know, even though they have X Corp, even though they in Genosha, she's
Yeah,
still
outside of her jurisdiction, I thought she was an
right.
American. Like, you're like, what are you doing over here?
I'm just like Jay-Z. Can I live? Like,
Right.
come on, Val Cooper. Everywhere I go, you right there. You will
You were
not
there.
let me live.
It's crazy. And she puts this card, this tarot card, in
Right.
Cable's hand. This is the Tower card, whereas is representative of chaos and
Mhm.
all things becoming mad. But it's also representative of a tower, which
Yeah.
reminded me of the X Corp tower that Xavier put up. So I feel like it's a clear reference to her coming after the X Corp building in some
Mm,
ways.
yeah.
Uh-huh. But yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I'm excited, even though I feel like this was the season finale, right? They only got 8 episodes. I feel like, right?
Yeah, so there's one episode left. I
Oh,
was
nice.
looking at last night. They had like a little premiere party for everybody that lives in LA. All the
Mhm.
content creators, all the YouTubers. A lot of them got invited to an X-Men event. And I was reading some of the tweets last night on Twitter. Shout out to my boy Brandon BD Davis. He was talking about how this finale is going to be. I'm letting you know now. I'm letting you know now. This finale is going to be very emotional. You know,
Ooh, okay.
it's gonna be a gut punch from what I'm hearing. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But yeah,
They always
it's
try to make somebody cry.
that's exactly what they're trying to do. But this one right here, you made me cry like a baby. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know what's happening. I'll be watching next week like you and everybody else is watching this right now. But I can't wait. One episode left. They've already gotten the next season. They've already written that. Apparently, I think they already shot it already, so it's ready to go in the can. Just right now in post production, and we'll get that sometime next year. So I mean, shoot, they really can release it the fall of this year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, for
But
sure. Like, what's the holdup?
yeah,
It's only 8 episodes. Now they got to release 22 episodes a season. Like, make it
right.
happen.
It's
But
only 8 episodes in 30 minutes. It ain't like we're going 45. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, this is itty bitty. I feel like they can knock these out if they really wanted to.
They
But
really good.
there is one thing that I forgot to mention. So I brought it up earlier, but I want to circle back to it. Um, because Gambit, while he was death, while he had apocalypse in him, I personally feel like a lot of that was apocalypse because why would in the earlier episodes we saw that apocalypse and rogue they was sitting next to the fire, and then during that episode I was I theorized that I suggested that there seems to be a little chemistry here. I said rogue is our Helen of Troy of this
Hmm.
season. She's getting all the boys in the yard. I felt like there was something there, right?
Right.
And with this episode with death trying to marry her and trying to get revenge on his ex, I'm like, how much of this was actually apocalypse? I feel like a lot of this was more apocalypse than we maybe were led to believe. You
I
feel like
think
this was all Gambit?
no. I think it was Apocalypse playing tricks on Gambit's mind at the same time because Apocalypse took him over as a host. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? So of course Rogue was fall for it. You know, anybody would have fell for it because you didn't know that Apocalypse was behind the scenes. But yeah, this is more Apocalypse. I don't think we really got true Gambit until the end where she was like pulling him out. You know what I'm saying? Because Apocalypse can play with the mind. He already know all the thoughts. You know.
You're right. Okay, I can see that. But that was the show, guys. Please like the video if you like the video. And subscribe to Lawrence Reports channel. Let the people know what you got cooking over there.
Wow. Well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on.
Of
Hopefully
course.
we'll be back together next
Mhm.
week.
For
It
sure.
should be a blast for sure. Wow, on my channel, um, really, it's really been X Men like Marvel stuff. There's really not a TV show that I'm really covering right now outside of this right here. I
Hmm.
mean, I have my Odyssey review up. I got my Spider-Man movie review up. You can find me on all the socials on my TikTok at the Lawrence Report, um, Twitter, Instagram. It's everything at the Lawrence Report. So yeah, there's
All
no
right.
there's like I said, there's no current major TV show that I'm covering right now besides X-Men 97. But I'm really focusing more currently on movies that's out in the theaters.
Okay, well, check him out. He has a video out about this episode. So if you want to talk more about X Men, check out his channel. And join us next week, and we will see you then. Bye bye.